Hi everyone, a very good morning. I'm back with another lesson. This is Dr. Anamta Rizvi, your educator for UGC NET English Literature. We all are aiming for the UGC NET December 2024 exam. All my lessons will just help you to ace this exam, to pass this exam, and all my comprehensive lessons will be very beneficial. I'm not going to leave one aspect of it, and we are going to discuss the same in this Paradise Lost Part 2. फॉर ऑल माई स्टूडेंट्स जिन्होंने पार्ट 1 नहीं देखा है प्लीज़ कल की वीडियो अपलोडेड है 9 सितंबर की 10:30 AM पे मैंने लाइव क्लास लिया था द एंटायर वीडियो इज देयर दैट्स पार्ट 1 जिसमें मैंने फर्स्ट 6 बुक्स डिस्कस की हैं अब टुडे दैट्स 11 सितंबर टुडे आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस all the rest of the books here, okay, so that is 7 to 12 books, and that will be critical discussion of the books, critics ने क्या बोला है, important angels कौन थे book से, and all those. All right, it's a very comprehensive lesson. I hope everyone is prepared. About me, I am Dr. Anamta Rizvi. I did my PhD from the Department of English, Jamia Millia Islamia. I qualified my GRF NET in literature. And here I am with all of you as an educator to help you pass your exam. Okay, so without any further delay, let's begin with our lesson. You can see a very mysterious, a very enigmatic picture I have put here. Very likely it's a Satan. Can you see? Satan, who was named as Lucifer. Pehle uska naam Lucifer, the angel. Look at the horns that the Satan has, right? So this is the picture. Just imagine the Satan looking over Eden and saying that, wow, what a beautiful place. So this is Eden and this is Satan. All right, so let's go ahead with our lesson for the day. Okay, so you can avail this course with my code ARLIVE, that is Anamta Rizvi Live, and get good discount. 7499 में कोर्स आ जाएगा, पेपर 1 भी पढ़ने को मिलेगा, पेपर 2 भी पढ़ने को मिलेगा. Pass this exam for sure. You have our support, our help, our knowledge, everything. Okay, go ahead, avail this course and be a part of the Study IQ app paid classes. All right, going ahead with our discussion now. Okay, बुक 1 से बुक 6 तक हम लोग ने सब पढ़ लिया था. नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू बुक 7. बुक 7 अगेन ओपन्स विद द इन्वोकेशन टू यूरेनिया. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एक बुक 1 में इन्वोकेशन हुआ था म्यूज को, एंड बुक 7 में इन्वोकेशन हुआ है यूरेनिया को. बुक 7 बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. द म्यूज ऑफ एस्ट्रोनॉमी. हु इज यूरेनिया? द म्यूज ऑफ astronomy. Question can come in the exam. Who is associated with divine inspiration and guidance? Milton seeks her aid in telling the story of the creation of the world. Book 7. A second, guys. Just let me check quickly whether I am. Just a second, guys. Let me see if I'm visible, and so that I think I should be visible. I hope everything is audible, visible. Just checking it in case things are not technically right, so we can go ahead. I think yeah. Fine, everything's good. All right, so going ahead with this, remember book 7 एक वीक में 7 days होते हैं. बुक 7 में क्रिएशन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड की बात हुई जो 7 दिन में हुआ था. ओके, इससे याद रखना. सो बुक 7 में किसकी बात हुई? क्रिएशन ऑफ द वर्ल्ड की बात हुई कि गॉड ने कैसे वर्ल्ड क्रिएट किया था. वी विल रीड दिस. ओके, so the focus shifts back to the archangel Raphael, who continues his conversation with Adam, who tells the creation of the world story to Adam. That is Raphael is a very important angel. Adam expresses curiosity about the creation of the world and asks Raphael to narrate how everything came into being. Raphael responds by explaining that after Satan and his followers were expelled from heaven, God decided to create a new world as a means of counteracting Satan's rebellion. So God thought that, now Satan is out, I need to create a world. And that is how God got this idea that, a new world should be created. Next we have the Son of God is chosen by the Father to carry out the act of creation. Okay, who is chosen to carry the act of creation? The second, and that is the Son of God, and that is the Christ. The Son descends from heaven to the chaos that existed before the universe, riding his chariot of power and accompanied by angels. The Son of God is the one who's chosen. And who is the Son of God? That's Christ we are talking about. That, he will be helping God in creating the world. The Son of God speaks the divine word, and by his command, the cosmos begins to take shape. And as he commands, the cosmos of the world, the entire universe starts. Why? Because that is command by the Almighty, the one who has all the power. Okay, so धीरे धीरे जैसे command आया, cosmos begins to change. Then you have creation happens in 6 days following the biblical order. 6 दिन में creation होता है. That is what exactly it is there. Book 7 में creation की बात की गई है. Remember, question can very easily come in the exam. In which book of Paradise Lost does the creation of the world come? And that is book number 7. Day 1, light is created separating day from night. सबसे पहले बनता है day and night. Light आती है. Light अगर नहीं होगी तो कुछ काम ही नहीं होगा. God is like, let the light come, okay? है ना, वो be light and there it is. That is exactly what happened. God said, be light, and there it is, all right? So, light is created separating day from night. Then day 2, the firmament or sky is made to divide the waters. Light is created and then sky is created in day 2. Day 3, the land is separated from the waters and the earth is filled with plants and trees. To add the beauty, to add the greenery. Okay, we have the day and night, we have the sky, we have the waters, we have the earth. There comes plant and trees in book 3. Day 4, the sun. The sun, moon, and stars are placed in the sky to give light and time. Time became very important for the earth. It is for us. Time is everything. Day 5, fish and birds are created to populate the seas and skies. Okay, to populate the seas and sky, fish and birds are created. Look at how beautiful. It's so magical that, somebody sitting up there and saying that, okay, chalo fish bana lo, fish aa gayi, birds bana lo, birds aa gaye. Look at the power of God, right? Day 6, land animals are formed, and finally God creates his own image, right? And God creates man in his own image, Adam as a ruler over the earth and its creation. Land and animals are formed, and God finally creates Adam as a ruler over the earth. And okay, so this happens in 6 days. Okay, ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगा दुनिया बनाने में, बस 6 दिन लगे दुनिया बनाने. Right, that's God. Right, that's Paradise Lost, book 7. That is talking about it. Okay, next we have is book 7 is continuing, by the way. Raphael highlights that God gave man free will and dominion over the earth, but Adam should remain obedient to God's commands. This is the mantra of life today also. We have free will. We can do anything. But then there is certain thing that we should not do. Right? Free will है, logic है, reason, हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. But नहीं करना चाहिए. Okay, why? Because first of all, morally wrong. God ने बोला है कि नहीं करना है. Okay, so you're capable of doing everything. Free will है. But you can't do that. This is exactly what Adam also told. Okay, and the Son of God, that is Christ, completes the work of creation and returns to heaven. So the Son of God, he is done with everything and he goes to heaven, where he rests on the 7th day. 7th day is Sunday and it is rest day. Okay, so that was for Christ also. 7th day he was resting. Raphael concludes his narration by emphasizing that the newly created world was initially perfect and free from sin and corruption. So Raphael is saying that what a beautiful world was there. There was stars, moon, sun, there were birds up chirping in the sky, there were fish swimming in the sea, rivers, and there were animals, there were trees, everything was beautiful. It was perfect world. The book closes with a sense of foreboding as Raphael hints at the potential downfall of man, even though the world was created in a state of harmony. The world was created in a state of harmony, but Raphael has an idea that, एक downfall होने वाला है man का, because man has free will. Man can choose whatever he wants. We are always given two things, two choices. ये करो या ये करो. अच्छी choice या बुरी choice. Okay? कभी कभी हम लोग को बुरी choice अच्छी choice लगती है, लेकिन वो बाद में पता चलता है कि वो सही नहीं था. Anyways, that is how free will is all about. So this is exactly what happens with Adam. Okay? Paradise Lost, book 8. Book 8 में क्या होता है? It opens with Adam asking Raphael more questions about the heavens and the celestial bodies. Now, Adam is very curious. Okay, Adam is like, what happens? ओपनिंग ऑफ द बुक इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट गाइज. ओपनिंग से कभी भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि बुक 8 कैसे ओपन होता है. एडम, बुक 8 opens with Adam asking Raphael के tell me more about the celestial bodies, the heaven, the earth, the entire universe. Tell me more about it. Adam is curious about the movement of the stars and planets and the structure of the universe. Now he's getting knowledge and he wants to get more knowledge. What exactly happens? How does this all function? Raphael advises Adam not to concern himself too much with these questions. Raphael says, "You don't worry. ज़्यादा मत सोचो." कहते नहीं है क्या ये तारे क्या बने, ज़्यादा मत सोचो, जिंदगी जियो, अच्छे से नेट एग्जाम पास करो, right? So Raphael advises Adam not to concern himself too much with these questions, suggesting that such knowledge is beyond human comprehension and not necessary for man's happiness or salvation. ज़्यादा सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं है कि दुनिया कब बनी, कैसे बनी. दिस विल नॉट हेल्प गिव यू हैप्पीनेस. ओके, दिस विल नॉट गिव यू सैल्वेशन. दिस वर्क कहते हैं ना कि कर्म करो, फल की चिंता मत करो या ज़्यादा सोचो भी मत. ओके, सो दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट Raphael is also telling. Raphael shifts the focus to the more important matters of obedience to God and living a virtuous life. You know, today also, be nice human beings. Don't think much about the world. कैसी बनी दुनिया, क्यों बनी दुनिया, हम क्यों आए हैं. Existential crisis लाने की जरूरत नहीं है अपनी जिंदगी. It is just like be good human beings, right? So this is exactly, he was saying, be obedient to God. Adam then begins to recount his own memories, describing his awakening and how he first became conscious of himself and the world around him. Now Adam in book 8 talks about himself also, कि कैसे मुझे पता चला that I am a human, that I am a man. उसको कैसे consciousness मिली. Adam recalls how he met God who led him through the Garden of Eden. Adam met God and Adam was the one to God was the one to bring Adam to the Garden of Eden, showing him all its wonders and showed him all the wonders. Adam explains his feeling of loneliness before God and created Eve. So Adam said that I'm very lonely. What will I do here alone? God created Eve. He expresses his desire to companionship, telling Raphael how he felt incomplete before meeting her. Companionship, okay? एक और बात यहाँ पे होती है that the woman is just a companion. It's a companion to the man. Superior, inferior, kuch hai nahi. He's a companion, okay? The woman and the man are companion to each other. That is also a lovely point that is discussed here. A God responds to Adam's desire for a partner by creating from his rib. This is a very popular concept. We all know that Eve was created from the rib of Adam while he slept, bringing her to life as a perfect counterpart, companion, friend to Adam so that he does not feel lonely. Adam expresses his deep love for Eve. Now she's the companion, she's everything. There's love between them, describing her beauty and charm, but Raphael warns him not to let his passion for Eve overpower his reasons. So he's like, you love Eve, but do not let your passions overpower your reasons. Raphael emphasizes the importance of balance between love and intellect, advising Adam to prioritize his obedience to God over his emotional attachment to Eve. It's like, do not get overly emotionally attached to Eve. There needs to be a balance. Adam assures Raphael that his love for Eve is guided by reason. Reason becomes important. Free will becomes. Look at how what qualities, attributes of human being. Milton is emphasizing free will, free choice, logic, reason. That is what he's saying. So Adam is saying, no, I have my reason. I am not going to get emotionally attached, but he does get attached, and we will see why this happened and why is Raphael advising this. Okay. So Adam assures Raphael that his love for Eve is guided by reason and he'll remain committed to following God's will. Okay, so this is exactly what he said. So Raphael concludes by advising Adam to stay vigilant and resist temptation, warning him that Satan is still a threat. So Raphael knows that Satan is very shrewd, very cunning. He's around and he still is plotting something. कुछ स्कीम कर रहा है, कुछ स्ट्रैटेजाइज कर रहा है कि कैसे एडम और ईव को करप्ट करें. सो रफाइल कहता है, लिसन एडम, बी वेरी केयरफुल. Do not let your temptation give in to Satan's ideas, okay? The book closes with Raphael taking his leave, reminding Adam of his responsibility to remain steadfast in his obedience to God. What one thing is being repeatedly being saying in every book is obedience to God. Be obedient to God. Follow what he says, okay? Next is Paradise Lost, book 9. We are coming. Book 7, book 8 done. Book 9. It opens with a shift in tone as Milton introduces the tragic nature of the events about to unfold, marking the transition from the epic's earlier themes of heroism and creation to the fall of man. Okay, tragic nature of the events are about to unfold. Now, book 9 में पता है कि book 9 is a crucial one. Okay, इसमें tragedy होती है, इसमें Eve convince हो जाती है and gives in idea. Let's see how. So Milton laments the shift from the high matters of divine creation to the story of human disobedience and its consequences. Question आ सकता है कि कौन से work में कौन से book में Milton आके regret convey करता है, that is book 9, where he's saying that it is book 9, the unfortunate book where the disobedience happens. Satan, having returned to earth after his defeat, enters the Garden of Eden in the form of a mist and begins plotting his revenge by corrupting God's newest creation of. Now again, Satan enters the Garden of Eden, and he's like, he has not given up the idea. He's still saying that I will corrupt humankind, and this is the best way to take revenge from God. Then what happens is Satan chooses to disguise himself as a serpent, as a snake, okay, which is considered the most cunning of all animals. Okay, snake, the poisonous snake. That is what he that is how he takes that avatar. So he sneaks into the garden and observes Adam and Eve working separately. This presents him with an opportunity. Now, Adam and Eve are working separately. They are not working together. So Adam and Eve discussing their day's work, debate whether to work together or divide their task. Eve suggests they work apart to be more efficient. So Eve says that, let's not work together. You do your work, I do my work. Otherwise, we will just talk and we will not work. But Adam expresses concern for her safety, cautioning against potential danger. But Adam is concerned that Eve should be saved and should not give in to the dangers of Satan. All right, so Adam knows that there is potential threat right now. Then what happens is Eve insists on her independence. Like all women do, Eve was like, please let me work in peace. I'll manage. I'm fine. I'll do my work. And Adam reluctantly agrees, allowing her to go off on her own. Satan seizes this. Satan sees that Eve is the more vulnerable one. Eve को हम target करेंगे and Eve will be the one जो कि give in कर जाए. Satan seizes the opportunity and approaches Eve, flattering her with words and praising her beauty. Okay, so Eve को लगता है that this serpent is a good serpent, like a friend. So Satan, in the form of the serpent, tempts Eve by leading her to the tree of knowledge. Satan उसकी तारीफ करता है, praise करता है, and उसको where does Satan lead? To the tree of knowledge and convinces her that अगर ये जो forbidden fruit है, ये apple है, if you will eat this, you will get the knowledge of the world, claiming that eating its fruit granted him the ability to speak and increase his wisdom. So he tells, why me a serpent ate this fruit? Because I ate this fruit and I got knowledge, and this is the reason that I'm king. Okay, so this happens where Satan is convincing. Eve is very interested and very intrigued by serpent's claim. Eve is also wondering that how is the snake speaking? It's an animal. So that the fruit gave him knowledge and power, he argues that God's prohibition against eating from the tree is unjust, suggesting that it's meant to keep humans ignorant. Again, Satan is corrupting. Look at how he's fueling bad ideas in Eve's head. He's saying that, this is unjust, this is unfair. Why should God have all the knowledge? You should also have the knowledge. Go, it is unjust. You go and have your fruit. Succumbing to the temptation, Eve eats the forbidden fruit, believing it will elevate her status and make her equal to the gods. So she thinks that, maybe I'll eat it and I will also get the knowledge and I'll be as good as God. After eating the fruit, Eve feels that initial sense of empowerment and euphoria. When she eats, for a fraction of a second, she feels very, very empowered. She feels, yes, I know everything that's around me. Eve returns to Adam and persuades him to eat the fruit as well, fearing that if he doesn't share in her fate, they will be separated forever. So Eve comes to Adam. Eve knows that she's done something disobedience to God. She's shown that disobedience to God. She comes to Adam and says that, Adam, I have eaten the apple. You also eat the apple. Otherwise, we will get separated. Next comes is Adam realizing the consequences. Adam realizes that Eve has done a fiasco. It's a disaster what Eve has done. She's eaten the apple. So eats the fruit out of love for Eve. This is the reason Raphael said that, listen, do not get very, very emotionally and passionately attached to Eve. Have your logic, have your reason. But Adam being incompletely emotionally attached with Eve, what he does is, in the fear कि उससे अलग हो जाएगा, eats the forbidden fruit. And he cannot live without her. After eating the fruit, both Adam and Eve experience sudden shift in consciousness, feel shame and guilt for the first time. Now they have the knowledge of the entire world. They are conscious of themselves. They're conscious that he's a man, he's a woman, and they know everything now. And this is the reason that they feel the shame that what they are. They cover their nakedness with fig leaves and begin to argue, blaming each other. This is the first fight that they have. Okay, that blaming each other, that who got who with because of whom we got that entire knowledge. The book closes with Adam and Eve in a state of despair, having lost their original innocence and harmony. And this was their fall from grace. This is how the disobedience happened, and they fell from grace. Next, you have, okay, so book 9 pe, let me just add my thing. The course that we have started on 30th August, paper 1, paper 2, and that's around 47499. You can use my code AR Live. ये PPT और भी notes, many MCQs, discussions with good discussion, not only answers, but we are going to have discussions of the options also there. You will get that with a lot of practice quizzes and all. So you can get this in this course, all right? Okay, next we are going ahead with this. Book 10. Okay, what happens is in book 10, let's go ahead with this. Yes. So it opens with the immediate aftermath of Adam and Eve fall. God is aware of the disobedience. Book 10, the powerful book. Book 9, the fall, the downfall happened, the unfortunate book. Book 10 is the powerful book where God gets to know, yes, disobedience has happened. Calls upon his angels to witness the judgment that will befall mankind. The Son of God, Christ, is sent by the Father to pass judgment on Adam and Eve for the transgression. Now God sends his Son, the Christ, that you go and tell Adam and Eve that what is the consequence of what you. The transgression means कि किसी चीज को सरपास करना. यहाँ तक लाइन बनाई थी, इस लाइन से transgress मत करना. But that they did. The Son descends to earth and finds Adam and Eve hiding in the Garden of Eden, ashamed of their nakedness and their sin. They're so ashamed. Adam admits his guilt but blames Eve for tempting him, while Eve in turn blames the serpent. Okay, so there's a vicious circle of blaming. Adam blames Eve, serpent. Okay, this is how the disobedience happened. Then you have the Son delivers their punishment. The serpent is condemned to crawl on its belly and be despised by all creatures. Snake is the reason that snake crawls on its belly. Okay, वो slither करता है. And of course, all the animals are scared. I mean, humans are scared of the snakes. Eve is cursed with pain in childbirth and subordination to her husband, and Adam is condemned to a life of hard labor, working the ground for sustenance till his death. So Eve is punished that, when you will give birth to a child, you will experience great hard labor, which is true. And Adam will be subjected to the hardships of life because he has to earn the money, he has to earn the bread and bring to the household. Okay. And this is after delivering the judgment, the Son ascends back to heaven, leaving Adam and Eve to the face consequences of their actions. Meanwhile, Satan triumphantly returns to hell, expecting praise from his fellows for successfully corrupting God's creation. Satan won, right? This was the disobedience, and Satan won this battle. Satan boasts of his victory. He's very happy, but as he and the other fallen angels celebrate, they are suddenly transformed into serpents as part of their punishment. Do you think God is going to leave them and not punish them? They are also transformed into serpents. The serpents are tormented with an illusion of the forbidden fruit appears before them but turns to ashes when they attempt to eat. अब हर serpent के सामने एक illusion आता है forbidden fruit apple का, and they want to eat it, but it just vanishes as they try to touch it. Back on earth, earth पे क्या हो रहा है? Sin and death. Now sin and death come into picture. In which book do sin and death come in? That is book 10, a very powerful book. Okay, sin and death, sensing Satan's success, build a bridge between hell and earth, making it easier for evil to spread in the world. Sin and death ने hell एक bridge बनाया connecting the hell and the earth so that sin can easily come in this. Otherwise, there was all peace, all harmony. Okay, so next, sin and death cross over to earth, bringing decay and corruption to all of creation and solidifying the consequences of the fall. Adam laments the dire state of humanity and the suffering that will follow for all his descendants. Adam is aware that जो उन्होंने किया है, everyone will suffer with that, right? So questioning the justice of God and falling into despair. Eve, seeing Adam's anguish, seeks her reconciliation and suggests they face their fate together. So now both are in a fight, but now Eve knows that, we got to reconcile because there's an entire all struggle and hardships to face in the future life, and we got to stay together. So she offers hope by proposing the repent and seek mercy from. Eve is like, listen, we should ask God to forgive us. Please forgive us for what we did. We are very, very sorry. So Adam, moved by Eve's words, agrees that yes, they should be humble themselves and they should go and ask for forgiveness from God. This book, book 10, closes with Adam and Eve resolved to pray and seek forgiveness, realizing that their disobedience has irrevocably changed their lives and the life of all the descendants. तो पूरी दुनिया की जो कहानी है, इट्स लाइक यार क्यों एडम और ईव नेट का एग्जाम नहीं देना पड़ता, राइट? सो ऑन अ फनी नोट, सो दिस इज एग्जैक्टली हाउ इट हैपन. नाउ वी आर कमिंग टू बुक 11. रिमेंबर गाइज, कल मैंने बताया था कि बुक 10 16 बुक 1 से लेकर बुक 10 1667 में पब्लिश किया था मिल्टन ने, फिर बुक 11 एंड बुक 12 गॉट पब्लिश इन 1674. ऑलराइट, बुक 11 and 12. So book 11, it opens with the Son of God. Now Christ comes into picture. 11, a good hopeful number. Okay, number 11. Today is also 11 September, by the way. Yeah. So opens with Son of God interceding on behalf of Adam and Eve, presenting their prayers of repentance to God. God accepts their repentance. God, benevolent, kind, forgiving, merciful, He forgives them, but decrees that Adam and Eve must be banished from the Garden of Eden. Their disobedience. But He says that Garden of Eden mein ab nahi rahe. You will not live in the Garden of Eden because that's a punishment. You disobeyed me. God sends the archangel Michael to carry out the banishment and to show Adam vision of humanity's future so he can understand the consequences of his action and prepare for the challenges ahead. Now, who does this duty? Michael in book 11 is the one जो कि दिखाता है future humanity क्या होने वाला है, only because they disobeyed God. Michael, the angel, descends to Eden, and Adam, upon seeing him, senses that his banishment is, and Adam gets to know कि वो banished तो होने ही वाला है. Eve is filled with sorrow at the thought of leaving the paradise she once ruled. Now, Eve is very saddened, of course. Who wants to leave this Garden of Eden, this beautiful paradise? And Adam, but Michael reassures that God's mercy remains with them. Though they are leaving the Garden of Eden, but Michael reassures that God still has a merciful heart and He will forgive you. Michael takes Adam to a high hill. Okay, it's a high hill. Remember, these are all important places, high hill, where he begins to show him a series of prophetic visions that reveal the mind. Maybe he also showed the war, the bloodshed that happens in the world. Okay, Adam sees the death of Abel, his own child, Abel. The first murder committed by Cain. Cain and Abel की कहानी भी शायद अगर नहीं सुनी है, तो what happens? Adam and Eve have two children, that is Abel and Cain, and Abel is killed by Cain. The brother kills the brother. Okay, that's the first tragedy of humankind. His brother, which marks the beginning of violence and sin in the world. Violence, sin, death, blood, bloody fights and all. So Michael reveals the eventual corruption of humanity where sin and wickedness will multiply on earth in numbers. Then Adam witnesses the great flood. So what are the visions that Adam witnesses? He witnesses the great flood where God punishes the wickedness of mankind by wiping out nearly all of humanity. Okay, he is so This is the punishment that God is giving. Michael explains that although the flood destroys much of life on earth, God promises never to destroy the world in this way again. Okay? Then Adam is shown the rebuilding of human civilization after the flood, but sin continues to persist in the future. Just a second, guys. Yes. Adam is shown rebuilding of human civilization after the flood, but sin continues to persist in the world. There is the flood comes, the great flood. Half of the humanity gets wiped off, more than half of the, but still there is still human race. And Adam sees the rise of nations, the growth of cities, and the further spread of vice and corruption. But there is more vice, there's more corruption that is happening. Despite these bleak visions, Michael assures that Adam, God's grace will remain with humanity. Book 11 repeatedly that God's mercy is with you. God's mercy is with you. And there will be opportunities for redemption to forgive your sins. Michael reveals the covenant with Abraham and his descendants, showing Adam that God will continue to guide humanity through prophets and messengers that will come. Adam is given a glimpse of the coming of the Messiah, and that is who is Christ, who will eventually bring redemption to humankind by sacrificing himself. He got crucified, right? This is what it said, that Jesus Christ sacrificed himself for the humanity. This final vision gives Adam hope, as he now understands that despite the suffering and the toil to come, salvation is possible and there can be forgiveness by God. The book closes with Michael instructing Adam and Eve to leave Eden. Okay, so book 11 closes how? Where Michael tells Adam and Eve, okay, now you leave the Garden of Eden. He reminds Adam to cherish the lesson learned from the visions and to maintain his faith in God's providence. Adam and Eve prepare to depart from the garden, knowing that their lives will be filled with hardship, with difficulties, but also with possibility of redemption for their descendants. Okay, this is how book 11 made. They are leaving the Garden of Eden. That last book we have, it opens again with Michael. Michael is in book 11 as well as in book 12. Book 11 opens with Michael continuing his revelation to Adam, showing him the future of humankind. Michael explains that after the Messiah sacrifice, a new era of redemption will become. कहते नहीं era divided है before Christ and AD after Christ, like the common era that we are living in. So Michael वही explain करता है कि after the Messiah sacrifice, after Jesus Christ is crucified, a new era will begin. And Adam is shown the history of Israel, starting with the rise of Moses, who will lead the Israelites out of bondage in Egypt and receive God's commandment. Okay, so this Prophet Moses story is also there. All right. Adam witnesses the establishment of the Israelites as God's chosen people and the rise and fall of their kings. It is considered that Israelis are the chosen people of God, and they will rise, they will fall. Okay, that is exactly that his book talks about. Okay, next you have is Michael reveals the eventual failure of the Israelites to remain obedient to God, leading to the exile and the destruction of the kingdom. So this is mentioned many times in the book. Michael explains that although the Israelites will repeatedly fall into sin, God will send prophets to guide them back to righteousness. Okay, so he's like, there will be sins that will be committed by them, but again, they will move on the right path. Adam sees the coming of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, who will be born in a very humble circumstances, and he will live a life of service, teaching love, humanity, kindness, and obedience to God's will. Okay, this is all in book 12, where it is only talking about salvation. Michael shows Adam, the Messiah's ultimate sacrifice, where he will die on the cross and will atone for humanity's sins. Okay, so whatever the humanity does the sin, Jesus Christ's crucifixion will give them salvation. The vision shifts to the future of Christianity, where Adam sees the spread of the gospel across the world. ऐसे Christianity spread हो रही है, Jesus Christ का message spread हो रहा है. Adam witnesses the eventual corruption of the church, where power and wealth lead to the decline of faith and the rise of religious hypocrisy. Despite this, Michael assures Adam that true believers will persist. There still will be good humans. There still will be true believers who will always obey the God. And Christ will eventually return in the second coming. Second coming, a very popular concept in Christianity, popular as in the most integral, that there will be second coming. W.B. Yeats had talked about second coming, right? So many authors have talked about second coming, that Jesus Christ will come again in this world, and again all the sins that are happening will all be washed away to judge humanity and restore earth its original perfection. Okay, so the second coming is mentioned in book 12. The final victory of Christ over sin, death, and Satan is revealed to Adam. So finally, book 12 knows that Christ will win, Satan will lose. Michael concludes the vision by reminding Adam that although life outside Eden with hardship, he must remain faithful to God and always obey God and be a righteous human being, be a good human. Adam expresses gratitude for the revelations. So Adam is shown all these scenes by Michael. Okay, ऐसा होगा, इतनी hardship होगी, इतना trouble होगा, इतना sins होगा, इतना death होगा. So he thanks Michael, understanding that the future of mankind will be challenging, but salvation is possible through obedience and faith. Adam and Eve are then led by Michael out of the Garden of Eden. Okay, who leads them? And that is Michael. The book closes with Adam and Eve standing at the gates of Eden. Such a beautiful paradise they are standing, looking back at the lost paradise with sorrow but also hope for the future कि उनके sins माफ कर दिए जाएंगे. Michael leads them down into the wider world where they must begin their new life, knowing that though they have lost Eden, they have gained knowledge. This epic concludes with Adam and Eve walking hand in hand towards the earth, ready to face the hardship of the world, united in love and faith, and prepared for the journey ahead. This is how life started on earth as per Milton's Paradise Lost, and these were the 12 books. Now we know the 12 books. What's important to know on these 12 books is कौन कौन से एंजल्स, कौन कौन से कैरेक्टर्स इंपॉर्टेंट हैं हर बुक के. मैंने ये सब मेंशन किया है. नोट इट डाउन, या जो मेरा कोर्स लिया है वो पूरी पीपीटी आपको आज मिल जाएगी जस्ट राइट आफ्टर द क्लास. Satan, formerly Lucifer, okay, the fallen archangel and leader of the rebellion against God. सबसे पहले हम Satan से मिलते हैं. Remember, for book 1 में Satan की speech आती है. Then Beelzebub, Satan's second in command and closest advisor. Beelzebub, Moloch, a very fierce and warlike demon. All these are bad angels, the angels who rebelled and come in book 1. Then there's Belial, a fallen angel known for being very cunning and very shrewd. Mammon, a demon representing greed. Mulciber, the fallen angel who constructs pandemonium. Which angel constructs pandemonium, or which devil constructs pandemonium? That is Mulciber or Mulciber, whatever you can say. Azazel, standard bearer for Satan's army. All these characters are important. Their names are important. Who did what role they play, because certain such questions do come in exam. Okay. Next we have is in book 2, Death, not an angel but being from Satan's rebellion personified as a dark figure in hell. Death सबसे पहले कौन सी बुक में आती है? बुक 2 में आती है. Sin, the daughter of Satan representing disobedience and transgression. Death and sin are introduced. 2. Book 3, the Father, that is God. When do we see God? It is in book 3 that the first time God comes. The ultimate divine authority, the Son, later known as Jesus to us. Okay, that is Jesus Christ, the chosen one, defeat Satan, redeem mankind, and he is depicted as an angelic good figure. Book 4 में all the good angels are coming. Gabriel, the chief of the angelic guards who watches over Eden and confronts Satan. Who is the guard of Eden? Gabriel. Ithuriel, a lesser known angel who discovers Satan in the garden by touching him with his spear. Ithuriel, second angel. Ziphon, an angel who accompanies Ithuriel to confront Satan. Uriel, the archangel who had been tricked by Satan into revealing the location. Uriel ही गलती से बताता है कि कहाँ पे Eden है, because he's tricked by Satan. Okay. Next you have book 5. Raphael, a messenger angel sent by God to warn Adam of Satan's presence and recount the story of Satan's rebellion. Raphael is given with a very important duty, okay, and that is to recount the story of Satan's rebellion. Abdiel, the only angel who stands against Satan's rebellion, remains loyal to God, returning to heaven to warn of the coming war. Okay, so Abdiel is the one who returns word. Remember this, Abdiel, a very important angel who returns to God, and that is Abdiel in book 5. Book 6, Michael, the leader of God forces in the war against Satan and his rebels. Gabriel, the chief angel, again featured in the war between angels and Satan. Abdiel plays a key role in the battle, striking Satan at the start of the war. Abdiel was with Satan first, but then he came back to God. Satan, fallen angel, includes himself, Belial, Moloch, and others from earlier books. All these come in book 6. The son Jesus ends the war by driving Satan and his followers out of heaven. Okay, book 6 में जो battle होती है. Book 7, Raphael continues speaking with Adam and describes how the world was created. Remember, we just studied book 7. Book 8 continues his conversations with Adam about creation and the universe. Book 9, Satan again comes, again appears as the tempter, disguised the serpent in Eden. Okay, and then book 10, we again see God the Father. We again see God the Son is there. Sin and death is talked about in book 2. Satan and Michael, all these powerful characters, they come in the powerful number 10 book. Okay. Then you have his book 11. Michael shows Adam visions of humanity we just discussed and what the future would be, how hard, difficult life would be, but still there is redemption, still there is salvation. Book 12, the last book, Michael continues to show Adam the future of mankind, including the promise of salvation through the Messiah, that is Jesus Christ. All these characters, the important angels in every book is very important. Learn it by heart. Any question, learn भी करो, समझो भी book को. You know, a trick, हर number के according just associate an idea and learn that accordingly. जैसे मैंने बोला, book 10 is very powerful. You know, that is how all the powerful characters are there. So learn it this way. But yes, it's a must learn. Okay, now we are coming to the last segment, and is what did the literary critics talk about it? Okay, I will quickly finish the work. Just let me see if I have any questions over here. Okay. Hi, Anshu. Okay, hi, Anshu. I'm reading your comment. I promise that I'll make sure that the PPT is as such that you can see everything from the next time. And yes, all my students watching, please like the video and share with your friends. It's a lot of hard work that goes in here. So I want everybody to get maximum knowledge. Critic interpretation of Paradise Lost. The state of innocence and fall of man, a dramatic adaptation of Paradise Lost में work लिया गया है. Dryden praised Milton for his sublime imagination and elevated language, and he called him a great genius. John Dryden was the one. What did he say? He said, Milton, cuts us off from all hope of pardon, as fallen beyond the possibility of redemption. He's like, इसने तो मतलब हम लोग redeem होंगे भी या नहीं होंगे. That is what Dryden is saying. So where did the Dryden talk about the state of innocence, fall of man? This was Dryden's dramatic adaptation of Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost एक literary Dryden ने drama बनाया था. And what was the name in 1677? And that was the state of innocence and fall of man. Okay, this was John Dryden. Next you have Samuel Johnson ने कहाँ पे बात किया है? Samuel Johnson 1779 में Life of Milton, from lives of the most eminent English poets. Interpretation क्या है? Johnson admired Milton's genius and the vividness of imagination in Paradise Lost. The hero of Paradise Lost is not the man but the devil. That is what Johnson said. Okay, so this was a very important statement that was given and was very controversial at that time. So however, Johnson also found fault with Milton's style, claiming Paradise Lost is one of the books which the reader admires and lays down and forgets to take up again. This is Samuel Johnson 1779 Life of Milton. Okay, next you have is William Blake ने बात किया है The Marriage of Heaven and Hell में. Marriage of Heaven and Hell में he's talked about Milton, and he famously claimed Milton was of the devil's party. मतलब Milton साइड किसका ले रहा था? डेविल का ले रहा था. उसने डेविल को जिताया था, राइट? सेटन को जिताया था, मतलब जीता भी था. बट द वे सेटन वाज प्रेजेंटेड एज अ कैरेक्टर, एज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग कैरेक्टर. So Blake said this, that Milton was of devil's party. without knowing it. He did not know it, but he was from the devil's party. He viewed Satan as a true hero of Paradise Lost, seeing Milton's portrayal of Satan as more dynamic and compelling than God. Okay, that is what he made. This is William Blake in 1790 to 93 में he wrote The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Then you have P.B. Shelley. Percy B. Shelley ने 1821 में लिखा था A Defense of Poetry में. Shelley, like Blake, found Satan to be the most interesting character in Paradise Lost, and he said, nothing can exceed the energy and magnificence of the character of Satan as expressed in Paradise Lost. So everyone, all the critics talked about that, yes, Satan was shown with a lot of charisma, power. He was very dynamic as compared to any other character. Okay, so Satan was shown as a very strong figure, and that is what all the critics are also praising. Next you have is C.S. Eliot ने 1936 में ऐसे लिखा था मिल्टन. ये कहाँ पे ऐसे आया था? सिलेक्ट एसेज में. एक उसका वर्क था एसेज 1936 में पब्लिश हुआ था इन रोट मिल्टन. Eliot critiqued Milton's influence on English poetry and he stated that style was not a style for other poets to imitate. He said that उसका अलग ही style है लिखने का. No poet can imitate Milton's style. He was a genius. He claimed that Paradise Lost lacked genuine human emotion and that Milton's poetry could only be an influence for harm. Okay, so that is Milton's poetry could only be an influence for harm, for hardship. Okay, so Eliot believed that Milton's blank verse created an artificial grandiosity. Eliot इतना strong critic नहीं किया था, as like not very praiseworthy. But yes, he said that Milton's style was very different. And where did he mention this? His essay Milton in 1946. Next is C.S. Lewis ने 1942 में बोला था A Preface to Paradise Lost में. He said to admire Satan is to give one's vote for a world of misery and death. This was by C.S. Lewis. Guys, why I'm talking about this is कि एग्जाम में बहुत अच्छे से ऐसे quotes आ जाते हैं. Who said this about Milton? Which critic said this? In which book did he say? Okay, so all these quotes that I'm talking are very important. Quote भी याद कर लो, book याद कर लो, year याद कर लो, author याद कर लो. You will be through complete Paradise Lost. Okay. Next you have is Stanley Fish ने 1967 में बोला था, Surprised by Sin में बोला था, The Reader in Paradise Lost and interpretation क्या था? Fish ने बोला था कि the reader's experience of Paradise Lost is intended to be a fall. Okay, this was Stanley Fish. Remember the reader response theory Stanley Fish की थी. This is what he said. Okay, so all right. Okay, that was it. Stanley Fish तक हम लोग की critics हैं. These are the all important critics. You don't have any other major critic as such. ऐसे तो लोगों ने बहुत बात किया है. But yes, these critics, their quote, their book, their year of the book published and the name of the author is important. This is Dr. Anamta Rizvi signing out now. And tomorrow again I will come with another lecture. आज मेरी क्लास है 3 to 5 पेड क्लास में. I will be discussing Middle English poetry, Renaissance poetry. Middle English कल किया था, हम लोग Renaissance poetry करेंगे. It will be a very detailed, comprehensive lecture. You can get into this course 7499. You can use my code AR Live. Paper 1, Paper 2 की सारा आपको study material मिलेगा, guidance मिलेगा, free recorded lectures मिलेंगे, live classes मिलेंगे. And you will get notes and everything. So if you are aiming for UGC NET December 2024, a very comprehensive course, do it with me. You will. And I'll see you.